Hello, welcome to the Node.js Community Security Working Group meeting for the 4th of January 2018. We're going to follow our standard agenda, which are items that have been pulled off of the basically the issue tracker and tagged for discussion in the meeting, as well as an opportunity for announcements. So I don't know, does anybody have any announcements to make before we move on to the tagged issues? No? Okay. So moving on, the first issue is number 80, which is to add Liren Tal as a group member. I'm just going to open that up, see if there's any more discussion since I last looked. So I've already approved. If any of you, any of the other one of the team members want to go in and approve as well, but I haven't seen any objections. So I think unless anybody has any objections, we'll just move forward with that.
Seconded.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so the next issue is number 73, which is third-party Triage Team membership. Opening that one up. Okay, so Vladimir, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, let me just note to the minutes that Liren has been approved.
Sounds good.
So, yes, the team is actually running good now. We've got a few reports in the pipe, and we've got several candidates who were accepted in the working group, in the triage team. If anyone in the working group objects with the member of the triage team, please let us know. But as far as it goes, it's pretty going all right, and I'm really excited to welcome Liren to the triage team now he's a member of the group.
Sounds great. Okay, so this one, should we leave it on the agenda, or I guess it's sort of like, is there anything else to be said on that front, or is it done and we can close it out?
I think we can keep it open to keep the door open to new candidates. However, I wouldn't keep it in the agenda, as I don't think we should regularly speak about that.
Okay, so I'm going to just take it off the agenda then. Right, okay, so it's basically a call to, I wonder if we should move that content to like the front README or something.
Yes, would make sense.
Just as, something, an issue is maybe harder to find, whereas if it's just up front that says, hey, you want to join.
Yeah, adding getting involved part of the README and have people answering there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, so I guess you happy to take the action to do that?
Yes, I'm doing that, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, the next issue was 68, which is the early disclosure program. Open that up again, see if we have anything new. Right, so I think the latest comment, maybe since we met last, is Bryce mentioned that NodeSource has a similar situation to what I'd mentioned in terms of, including in the program a way for companies who are actually building the SDK to be able to get early access would be useful. Other than that, I don't see any discussion. I guess the question is, do we need more feedback to decide whether this is something we need to push on, or is it something that we think is important and we just need to find somebody to start pushing it forward? I guess there's not a lot of people who've jumped in, right? Like, it would almost be nice to know if there's other cloud providers or distributions who would actually be interested.
Maybe announce that you'll be making the decision will be made next meeting. Please put your input in, make it public, and see if we can generate more conversation that way after the new year started. Although this week everybody's patching.
Yeah, I mean, when did this was open the 12th? Although it's been like the last few weeks wouldn't have been great up until then. Before,
I can't
just
imagine.
thinking. Go ahead.
I can't imagine that every cloud provider wouldn't want in on this. Like, I know that for basically for any functionless or serverless, function as a service system, they're also going to be doing, builds and have to be doing immediate updates in the same way. So we should definitely make sure that we have somebody representative of the big three cloud providers at least to make sure that they give us some feedback here.
Right. Okay. So that, yeah. So I was just thinking, how do we get more feedback? So we could try and identify a representative at each of the things. So I'm just thinking, we have people from Google and Microsoft in the community. Do we have a list of who all we think we, like Google, Microsoft? Do you have other people on the list that you would think we should reach out to?
Well, Amazon would be another one.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know that there's that much involvement with the.
No, they haven't had as much to date. I'm tempted to ask the foundation, somebody at the foundation, to maybe reach out to the corporate members. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'd have to make sure that they get it to the right person because, there's a good chance for confusion when we say, hey, security issues to somebody high up in a corporate level. They're going to be like, well, yes, obviously we want that.
Right. But it's sort of like we want them to then put us in touch with the person who actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I can take an action. Like, I think what I can do is I can fire off an email to, a few of the people on the TSC from Amazon, not from Google. I mean, in terms of Microsoft, there's a number of people who are involved in the NAPI effort, so I can ping them. The Amazon one, maybe I'll ping Miles as our director representative to see if he can, get the foundation engaged to help. Reach out to Amazon and any of our other corporate members to see if they can give us some more feedback.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I mean, our other option would be something like, we did a benchmarking survey and then, sort of heavily publicizing that. But this seems a little different and more in terms of, we just want to get connected with the people who might care. I guess the other one is the distributions, like the operating system distributions. We've always wanted closer contacts with them. I don't think I'm not sure we do have that yet, though. So
yeah, so we do our own PPA and the Yum builds because the operating system ones are so terrible, and so that's why everybody uses ours. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to have any success getting any action from the official repositories just because they prefer ancient versions of everything anyway.
Yeah, they I guess they don't typically patch for security issues and quickly.
No,
okay.
It's super slow, and there's certain operating systems where you still get 0.10. So
yeah, no, yes, yeah. Okay, so I guess it sounds like we can say that if we had a process where NodeSource could build those in advance, that would at least cover provide some coverage on the distribution side.
Yeah, and I will say that recently we've changed the way we're doing a lot of those builds, and so a lot of the builds now we just use the binaries that the internal build team provides anyway. So it's less of an issue for us in the distribution side these days.
Okay. Right, we
still do some, but
right. Okay, understood. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll take the action to try and reach out to those three groups, those three ways, and we can see what happens.
This is probably best unrelated, Michael, but if we can't get to the distributions directly, how about going through the distributions services arm, or I don't know, the people that run the Red Hat cloud, for instance, instead of trying to go directly to the engineering team from Red Hat, try and get to the people that have to consume their stuff and say, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to add this other repo? If you just
right.
took natural builds. I don't know.
That may
That's, I think, a separate topic and
Yeah.
probably not a security mission, but
right.
Yeah. That's probably an uphill battle given how many people have tried that for so many different packages in the past. But
fair enough.
It's not. I mean, it's not without merit. You know, it's just.
I've never run into that particular wall before, so
Yeah.
I would rather. I should learn from others that have.
I did think of another party that we should reach out to that would be pretty easy for me to reach out to. Would be Electron. Given that they have such tight bindings, they may also, I don't know if they already have members in the internal security group or not, but
You mean in the Node one?
in the Node one, yeah.
Yeah, no, the answer is no to that. So yeah, if you want to, I'm just writing it down as you say it. I took the action to reach out to Electron.
Yeah, yep. I'm good friends with Jacob Brownwater, who runs the project. So
yeah, that sounds good because yeah, no, they're probably another good one to get a perception on. Would they like grab that immediately or even build it in advance if they could?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just writing. I took an action to reach out, send email to TC members from Google and API team members from Microsoft, and ask Miles to go through board to see if we can reach out to Amazon. Okay. I guess we can, unless anybody else has any other suggestions, we can leave it at that until we get back to the next meeting and see what comes out of that.
I think it would be good to go ahead and establish a target end.
Right.
When do we want to decide by that?
Right. Okay. Goal. Let's see. So what do we think is reasonable?
I don't know. Clearly today is not reasonable.
Oh.
I don't know if next meeting or meeting after, but
yeah, why don't we? I was sort of thinking in my head 2 meetings from now. That seem. Next meeting we can see what kind of response we got from this effort, take some action or whatever, and and then the next one maybe we can make the decision. Seem reasonable to anybody, or anybody have an alternate suggestion?
I'm fine with that. That sounds good to me.
Okay. So the next one is number 67, which is kickoff core triage team.
And shamefully, I did not work a lot on that because I focused on the third-party triage team, and I hope to achieve that by next meeting.
Okay. I'm just going to line to third-party. Next meeting time frame. Okay. Here, sorry. Name too bad. Okay, sounds good. And then the next one is number 54, which is implement process for management of third-party vulnerabilities.
So that went well because most of the items are crossed now, and the 2 items remaining should be closed. I don't know about where Sam stands, but regarding the script to handle vulnerability from HackerOne, I should be able to finish that soon.
Yeah, Sam is taking some vacation, so I'm not sure if he's still going to get to that, or why don't I ping him in the issue and we'll see there. But I'm guessing there hasn't been any progress on that. tag with okay, we'll just leave that, added that, and we'll leave it for next time. Okay, okay, bug bounty program number 49.
That was something that I took on, and by the end of the year, I didn't get much done. I have made some notes that I've just pushed to my fork of the repo. I have not done a PR. Work out loud. You're welcome to come look at them. But I run into these sets of questions that are, I think, going to need to come back and have conversation here. Oops, and I didn't format these. But simple things like, do we have a security assessment of the current Node.js core? And I just don't know the answer to that.
And yeah, what does a security assessment mean?
Do we know what kinds of exposure we would expect to find? Have we done any analysis of the security defects that have been discovered and fixed over the last, I don't know, year? Any of that sort of work?
That I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
Okay.
So well, I think that there's some, like, some of that's been done, right? Anything with a CVE sort of has that.
So I guess it's right. Maybe I answered too quickly. We certainly deal with the security issues as they come in and assess them, but we don't do like a yearly
individual assessment. But
right.
Have we actually done any tracking and analysis of those assessments to know areas that might be vulnerable, or do we know if we have researchers that have been finding problems that we might approach and see what scope they've done? And that leads into another, and this is a thorny issue in my mind, maybe this team can make it unthorny, but there's a lot of discussion at HackerOne posts and other places generally, but I think it's got a lot of traction from know whether you want to be public versus private. And the strong suggestion in several cases is to start off with a private bounty program, offer researchers that you believe are already interested in the community, et cetera, and see if you can get a better feel for how it's going to launch, how it's going to go.
One issue that we've had is that a lot of the like security researcher type people are interested in poking holes in the binding layer. The pieces that we tell people, we're not going to support, and they're like, oh, you can make Node core segfault if you use process.bindings directly.
Right, and that gets to a third area, which is scope, which is an essential element to get well captured and well displayed. I had hoped to get with Reed specifically, but I haven't managed to make that happen because I think in prior meetings, Reed had specifically piped up and said, let me know if you have questions.
Yeah, I think he even may have tagged into, he tagged into saying, hey, I'm can't make it, but if you have any questions, let him know.
So I'll neaten this up a little bit and try and engage him, the team broadly. I can do it, I guess, process-wise. Is it reasonable to use WIP? Is that broadly known that that's a work in progress, comment open kind of notation, or would you rather it be in an issue?
Sorry, you were going to just put WIP at the beginning of the issue, or?
No, WIP into a
pull request
document. Yeah, I'll post the link to the thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Obvious to find my fork of this thing, but
because the pull requests do make it easier for people to comment, like they can comment on specific lines and stuff. So that's often handy.
Yeah. So I just do a pull request that brings this in, but I'll mark it WIP. I don't intend to have it merged at this moment.
Yeah, sounds good. So Bryce, I didn't want to cut you off there. but I did. So in terms of the, like, is it were you thinking, like, are there things that you think we are doing, or in terms of the bigger, like the review of what we've done as opposed to the individual assessments, or?
I'm not aware of anything. I was just perhaps seeking clarity on what Michael was saying.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's certainly, those are the kind of things that I think this group should think about, and think about how we could help the project get to the point where we do that. Because, you know, say looking at the, you know, once a year saying, what were the vulnerabilities that were reported last year? Are there any trends? That's something we could put on this group's agenda as something we could be doing. Because, you know, they're all public, right? And we can, there's no issue with that. So I don't know if, I guess it comes down to, like, whether we think we're going to have cycles, people will have enough time or interest to actually sort of drive that.
So, well, I don't know that we need to hijack the meeting to really review a proposal that isn't ready to be a proposal yet. But in the note that I just posted, and that gets to some of this, I actually don't think that that's going to be a sizable effort compared to actually running a bug bounty program.
Okay.
If we're in it to run a bug bounty program, then we're going to have to pony up far more time than just a kind of casual analysis of, well, we had these number of defects in this and this number of false reports here, so we need to tighten up the scope definition there. And that's trivial compared to the real work.
Okay, so it sounds like what I'm understanding from what you're saying is, from what you're looking at, you're going to actually, you know, and what you're working on, that will probably drive us into a number of these discussions of a number of these areas and things, and we don't need to capture them any other way. We'll just drive it out of the document you're putting together.
Yeah, that's, I didn't come prepared to review the document, but I don't mind sharing it. My goal here is to have some offline conversation.
Right. Okay. I was just thinking, like, you know, didn't want to forget the thought that maybe we should do this yearly review, but I think what I'm understanding now is that we won't, because it's going to be covered in the what you're putting together. Yeah,
and
unless
more, you think unless there's a chance you think that we don't want to go bug bounty, but we do potentially want to continue to prepare. I'm putting a hat on this as I want to figure out a way whether we can really do a bug bounty.
Right.
I'm taking a presumptive pro approach to the fact that we want to bug bounty.
Until we say no, then we just continue down that path, and it sounds like it's going to drive out a bunch of these issues. So,
and it does sound like what you're talking about has merit outside of a bug bounty program as well, right?
Yeah.
Just having this data.
Right. I think if we chose not to do a bug bounty program, we still should do this because it's got value. It might eventually lead to a bug bounty or not. Who knows?
Right. So we'll see what you get put together. Once, you know, we'll take a look at what you got there, and we can push it forward in that context. And if we ever change, you know, if we ever say no, we're not doing the bug bounty, we could break out these kind of pieces and say, oh, but we should still do these other things.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that sounds good. I guess it's still, you know, WIP PR to be submitted to as forum for discussion / comments. Okay, does anybody want to add anything else on that front? Okay, if not, then the next issue is number 88. And Vladimir, you'd added that on, so.
Yes. Just to give to the group an overview of what happened during the last 24 days. So we officially started a HackerOne plan for the ecosystem. So far, we've been having nine vulnerability reported to us, 3 of them being not real vulnerabilities, and 6 of them have been triaged as vulnerabilities. A few items will be disclosed early compared to the expected agenda. of 45 days with agreement of the package maintainers. So I just wanted to tell you that everything is going all right, and we are starting to get our cruise speed on that topic.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Of package owners. I'm just taking notes. Launch is going well. That's great. I think that plays into something that's not here on the agenda, but the Zibby's request that we kind of do a blog. I think that's, you know, a good thing to highlight. Is I don't even know if like a blog on its own would be useful around the third party. Here's what it is. We're now up and running, and even some of the stats that says, hey, in the first month we've got this and we're doing that. You know,
I was planning to write something, but I did not get time for that because of, you know, holiday season and stuff. But basically, that's on my roadmap. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. I think so. Yeah, I think it's just a standalone blog on that front seems like a good idea. And then the sort of general one on what this team is doing. Which issue is that? That's issue number 83. So Colin had made some good suggestions on things to cover. Maybe, you know, my call to everybody else who's in the call here is to go read through that issue, comment, and we should plan on, you know, in the not so distant future to start working on the you know, maybe if we agree on an outline, we can then figure out who's going to run off and write the different pieces. Like I'm certainly happy to write the piece on the CNA side of things, but probably the first step is to get a good outline of what we're going to talk about. So maybe our goal could be for next meeting to have everybody review and comment it and get to an outline would be, I think, a decent target. Makes sense to people?
So that was 83?
It's, yeah, here, I'll paste the...
I got it.
Okay.
I just didn't see it in the list at first.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't in the list that was pulled out because I didn't. So what I will do is I think I'll tag that with the agenda so it shows up in the next meeting, and so we don't forget that, hey, we were planning to do something there. Okay. Anything else? I think that's the end of our agenda. Anything else people want to talk about or? Okay, if not, maybe we can just going to see if people, we have 10 viewers on the YouTube channel. So if people have questions, they can post them in the issue. And we will just give people a few minutes to post them in there. Just don't see any yet. So maybe just wait one more minute and then we'll call it. Okay, well, I think that's it. I don't see any other questions. So thanks for everybody participating, and we'll talk again at the next regularly scheduled time, which actually, before I go, might as well just do a reminder of when that is. I think that ought to be, is it 2 or 3 weeks? We did 3 weeks. That is set for January 25th. Actually, that does remind me I'm going to be away that week. So we'll need a volunteer to chair the meeting. So I'll open an issue just asking if somebody can jump in. That would be great.
I don't like doing it, but I don't have access to any admin stuff at the Node Foundation side.
Right. I'm trying to think if anybody. Colin, do you have access to set up the stream?
I never have before. I know I don't have access to the calendar or anything like that.
Okay. I guess so. Our two choices is one, we could try and get you set up, or we could, and actually, even I do need to figure out if we can get other, we should be able to get other people, but it would be easy to get access to. So either we could do that, or you guys could just use a Hangout that's not associated with the foundation next time. It's not quite as good, but better than not having a broadcast at all.
I'm okay with either.
Okay, so Colin, yeah, I'll follow up with you, and actually, in terms of, I'll follow up with you. I think I can basically just add you with an FYI to everybody else, and then I can show you how I normally set them up.
Okay, sounds good.
The meeting issue itself will automatically, actually, I haven't set it up yet, but I'll set it up to automatically be generated in advance, and just seeing if there's anything else, but yeah, that should be it. Okay. So I'll miss you guys next time, but I'll catch up with you the time after. Thanks.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye, thanks.